We're over there.
Mm-hmm.
Not over here.
Mm-mm.
Right, I should have knew that. Anywho, you know who it is. It's Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia giving you another segment of Get Things Done. As I've been corrected in a very embarrassing way. We're over here today at this workstation. And in today's segment, we're going to be discussing some plugins that I utilize during our music production that I think will be beneficial for you guys out there who are producers yourselves and doing the full production process. Not just producing beats, making instrumentals, soundscapes, yada, 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 but also going through the process of mixing and then therefore mastering your production. Just as a side note, this comes after AlphaOmega just put out a new album. So definitely check that out. Spectrum of Rebels is out, available now. Check it out. Apple Music, YouTube Music, Spotify, bunch of other ones. You'll figure it out. But definitely check out the album. Physical copies, are coming soon. But again, with that being said, I thought this would be apropos and the perfect timing to discuss some plugins that we utilize here in studio that are pretty much our go-tos. And again, hopefully this will assist you, give you some ideas, and to go about with your musical process and finishing up your production. So if you see on here, we're on Cakewalk. You know that's our go-to DAW that we use. And we have something set up right here. We got some tracks set up. Different, utilizing some keys, some vocals. We got some drum. We have a drum mix on here. We have some guitars mixed in as well. For the drums, though, in this particular production, we're looking to kind of like fatten the sound and add a little bit more substance to the drums. Add basically a pattern to it and not just a bass line, since we got so much other things going on within this production with the keys, with the vocals, and some guitars. So we're going to go up here and we're going to go ahead and add a track. We're going to go ahead and add this drum kit. Go ahead and create it. And we got it set up right here. I'm going to bring it up here. Scroll this down. Now, in the past video, we discussed how to create like a FX bus or a master bus. Within that, you will be allotted different types of plugins that you will utilize. And these will be set up as your main ones, your go-tos, so that they're collectively within a group that you can instantly import onto the track. And then whatever plugins or effects that you have within there, it will automatically be added to this track. Whatever kind of production that you have within the track, it will be layered with them effects and plugins. Or you can just manually add them as you go. It's all what you prefer. Sometimes I like just manually adding, because sometimes I don't know quite right off the bat what plugin I'm going to use. So I kind of want to go through my list and kind of see what goes good and what doesn't. Cancel some things out, as it were. Some of these are some older plugins. You probably will be familiar with some of these. Some of the newer ones that's come out, I'm not really big on, because they're incorporating a lot more stringent on presets and utilizing AI. Which I'm not saying they're not effective or beneficial, but sometimes I want a little bit more control myself and not just be reliant on it doing it for me once I just create a couple different parameters or configurations, right? So one plugin that we definitely use here, and as you can see it pop up, it's called BX Enhancer, and it's provided by a company called Plugin Alliance. So definitely check them out. It's an association with Brainworks, with Native Instrument. As you can see here, we got the setup for Native Instrument. That's definitely a plugin in itself. If you're looking to create different types of melodies, different types of loops, layer it with different types of synths. Obviously, Native Instrument is a great one we use. We talked about that in a previous video. BX Enhancer is so great. This plugin is so great because, as you can see here, it allows you to actually really sculpt out the dynamics in your production. And it's breaking down, adds a compressor, and then adds some color. And then it breaks it down to your high end, your low end, and even your mid. So for your bass lines, if you want to add a little bit more texture, a little bit more oomph to your bass line itself, you can set that up as well. And then the velocity in which you want your this plugin to be impactful to your production, you can control it here. And then the neat thing too is you can also pan as well, right within the plugin. You can measure how much of the plugin itself and the effects itself can be inputted into the track and how it will be presented output. And then you have your meter here to give you an understanding if you're within range, if maybe you're just peaking a little bit too much, maybe you don't have enough on the high end, maybe not enough on the low end, you want a little bit more balance. This plugin is perfect for tweaking everything out accordingly. And this is a great plugin. It's very easy to use, very intuitive, as you can see here. And it adds so much more oomph and makes your production more powerful in a very subtle way. Another plugin that we use, I'm gonna go down here. It's called Beat Slammer, and it's provided by Baby Audio, so definitely check them out. Along with Plugin Alliance, they're both good to check out because they do offer free plugins and a lot of promotional deals. So if you're working on a budget, as far as you're trying to get your plugins, those are two different sites that you could check out. And you could definitely pick up on some deals on some good plugins. This is one of them, Beat Slammer, and it simply just adds more bass to your overall production. If you're noticing that your production is not loud enough and you don't want to mess with the gain too much, you have it set where it needs to be at, but you're lacking in that impactfulness that I was talking about with your beat. It's just not, overall, it doesn't seem loud enough. Not something particular in your production. Your entire production, it's just not loud enough. I definitely recommend Beat Slammer. So it's easy to use. You just have this grid right here. You can easily just move this. The amount of the plugin versus how much you want the plugin to be wet. Certain parts of your production you probably will just want it kind of like dry. That would be more different types of sounds incorporating your low end. You will probably want that dry, not so much layered with effects. You kind of just want it in the background. You don't want it kind of like center mass so much for compared to the other elements within your beat. Down here is your makeup. again, this is kind of like a velocity level of how, again, how impactful you want it to be. And you easily could just scroll down on this bar. And then your output in dBs. So how much more do you need it to hit to reach your threshold where the beat is loud enough? Remember, you don't know how people are going to listen to your music, whether it's through earbuds, headphones, through computer monitors, computer speakers, or some kind of stereo system in their car or their home. You want to make sure that whatever source they're using to listen to your music, that they can hear it with clarity and they can actually feel it. So Beat Slammer is definitely a great one where you could just plug it in very quickly and just make your overall production louder. Another one that we use greatly is Valhalla Supermassive. And this is probably definitely for you guys out there that are familiar with music production. You're probably familiar with this plugin. Valhalla has different versions of their plugins. This is the one that I use. These are great for incorporating different echo effects. As you can see here on this one, this mode is called Gemini. The preset is defaulted. And the nice thing about it is that it actually gives you a definition or a quick overview of what exactly this mode pertains and this preset pertains and what you're going to get. In this case, you're getting controls, density of echoes when the feedback is turned up. This is great for adding some nice little trails to certain parts of your production, especially with some vocals. If you're looking for like that nice echo effect, or maybe you have something in the background that you want kind of have that mystique of some echoing in the background to accompanying the production itself. This is perfect. We use it all the time. This is really great with synths as well. Neat thing is you do have the presets that you could just scroll over. I know I just said I don't want to be so stringent on using presets, but at least this still gives you the control. Certain plugins don't give you this option of controlling. Once you click on a preset, it's pretty much set that way. So there's no way for you to reconfigure it anyway. So if you don't like that particular preset, you would just have to go to another preset and see if that works for you. At least here, whatever preset you got, you could go ahead and try it out as is. But then you have these encoders here in which you can actually configure it the way you see fit. Your highs, your lows, how much depth you want it to be, how much EQ you want to input, what your overall mix is based off the configurations that you make over here. If you want to add more delay. And then how you want to set it by note. So this is great. I definitely love it for vocals. But if you're into synths like I am, I definitely recommend using this. And then not to go through like the whole listing, but last but not least, I know for some guys out there, or some of you guys out there, you're pretty much familiar with Izotope. They're great for like mixing and mastering plugins. This version that I have is 9 elements. It's pretty much like a standard version. They do have a version above this one that incorporates a lot more. They have a newer version out that's 10. I don't believe they have an 11 out. If they do so, please put it in the comments and let me know. As of right now, I only know that they have Ozone 10. I know this is an older one, but to me, a oldie but a goodie. I like this one because it gives you more control versus what I was mentioning earlier with Ozone 10. It's a lot of relying on like AI kind of going over your production and then kind of putting out their version of a mix. But as you can see here, you have a little bit more control in which you can set it to analog or digital. You can come here and set it to stereo or to the mid or to your left and right. If you're looking to like your overall production to go more to a panning effect, you can have the gain match from your original mix, or you could put it in mono. And then on here, you do have presets. But again, you have the control of switching if this is not what you're looking for. Right? So as you see here, I'm moving this up. I want to add more attack. I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying this is what I'm going to be presently using. But as you can see, I can move up the gain, move up the decibels on the gain, kind of sculpt the sound exactly how I want it. As it says up here, they're presets, but it's labeled as a master assistant. They want you to treat this as an assistant, not just be settle basically on what the option entails once you click on the actual preset. It's encouraging you to make your own configurations and set your own parameters. And then the great thing about this is that you can set the limit for your transient. We talked about this in a previous video as well. And how much you want it to be sustained through your mix. You have your meters. So you could get an understanding of if you're reaching your true peak, reaching the threshold that you have presetted. So forth and so on. So that's a great thing about this. Again, presets are available. But again, you have the option, you have the control to kind of like configure it the way you see fit based on how your music is set up. So that's about it. I just wanted to give you a quick highlight, some enlightenment on some main plugins that we use here with AlphaOmega. Plugins that you see, yes, we utilize them at length by putting our new album together. So hopefully this will enlighten you guys, was helpful for you guys. Definitely do your research. There is a plethora, a whole boatload of plugins that you can utilize. We'll definitely do another video where it'll be a little bit more extensive and go into a lot more detail on how to break it down, depending on what type of production that you're doing and what you're utilizing within your production. What plugins will be more beneficial to bring the best out of your mix. So look out for that. But until then, I appreciate you guys tuning in. You know who it is. It's Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia. And the only thing left to say is get things done. Check you later.